Carl Gustav Jung was born on July 26, 1875 in Caswil, Switzerland. He is a Swiss psychologist and psychiatrist who founded analytic psychology, in some aspects a response to Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis. Jung responds and developed the concept of extrovert and introvert personality, archetypes, and the collective unconscious. His work has been influential in psychiatry and in the study of religion, literature, and related fields. Jung was the son of a philologist. His childhood was lonely, although enriched by a vivid imagination, and from the early age he observed the behavior of his parents and teachers, which he tried to resolve. Especially concerned with his father's failing belief in religion, he tried to communicate to him his own experience of God. Jung seemed destined to become a minister, for there were a number of clergymen on both sides of the family. In his teens, he discovered philosophy and read widely, and this, together with the disappointment of his boyhood, it led him to forsake the strong family tradition and to study medicine and became a psychiatrist. He was a student at the University of Basel in 1895 to 1900. He was fortunate in joining the staff of the Burgholzli Asylum of the University of Zurich at the time of 1900, when it was under the direction of Eugen Bleuler, whose psychological interests had initiated what are now considered classical study of mental illness. At the asylum, Jung began with outstanding success to apply association tests initiated by early researchers. He studied especially patients' peculiar and illogical response to stimulus words and found that they were caused by emotionally charged clusters of association withheld from unconscious because of their disregardable, immoral, and frequently sexual content. He used the now famous term complex to describe such condition. Jung's growing reputation as a psychologist and his work dealing with the subconscious eventually led him to the ideas of Freud's and, later, to the man himself. Over a 5-year period beginning in 1907, the two men worked closely together, and Jung was widely believed to be the one who would continue the work of the elder Freud. However, viewpoints and temperament ended their collaboration and, eventually, their friendship. In particular, Jung challenged Freud's belief around the sexual as a foundation of neurosis. He also disagreed with Freud's method, asserting that the elder psychologist's work was too one-sided. But breaking with Freud's has consequence for Jung. Freud's closed off his inner circle to his younger psychologists, and others in the psychoanalytic community has shunned him. In 1914, he resigned from the International Psychoanalytic Society. Seeking to further distinguish his work from Freud's, Jung adopted the term analytical psychology and developed deep into his work. His most important development from this early period was his concept of introvert and extrovert, and the notion that people can be categorized as one of the two, depending on the extent to which they exhibit certain functions of consciousness. Jung's work in this area was featured in his 1921 publication, Psychological Types. During this period, he also allowed himself to explore his own mind, eventually proposing the idea that there was not only a personal unconscious, but also a collective unconscious from which certain universal symbols and patterns have arisen throughout history. At the heart of analytical psychology is the interplay of this with the ego, a process he labeled individuation, by which a person develops into his or her own true self. For much of his later life, Jung traveled the globe to study different cultures. He published extensively on his finding, authoring some 200 works of his theories, including Modern Man in Search of a Soul, 1933, and The Undiscovered Self, 1957. He also held professorship at the Federal Polytechnical in Zurich and the University of Basel. Jung's ideas continue to resonate today in the field of various as archaeology, religion, literature, and even the pop culture.